Hello folks, Dobbers here once again. What we're going to be doing is breaking down a duck for you lovely people. Ooh la la. Just like a chicken, we want to pop those hip bones out because those hip bones are hard to cut through. We make one little incision down the inside of the leg. Look at this glorious fatty little duck. Absolutely lovely. Then we turn our little duck over, lifting up the leg, wanting to aim for that little oyster on the back. Now, a duck oyster is nowhere near as big as a chicken oyster, but it's still there, so you better get it. And then it's just a simple matter of wiggling your way through that hip joint and then bringing the knife nice and tight down towards the back hip. Now, there is one little duck leg. Turn this around. Get into that oyster. And there you go, folks. Two gorgeous little duck legs. What we're going to do is cut straight through with our heavy knife. Bang straight through the spine. Place that to the side for the moment. Now, all this here is beautiful duck fat. You do not want to throw this away. Now, if you're doing lots of ducks, I highly recommend you keep this duck fat and render it. Save it for confying your duck legs. Save it to keep and render. Lovingly spoon over your roast potatoes. Absolutely lovely. So, all we've done is separate the fat from the inside. What we're going to do is run our knife along the backbone like so to get that other skin off and then bring it all the way down like so. Then quick snip around the little parson's nose, like yay. Turn that over, bang straight through. Oh, missed a couple of bits. And there you go. That's the duck hips, that's the duck fat. When rendered, that is liquid gold. So now, moving on to our duck. We're leaving these flaps for good reason, and I'll show you why. We need to next tackle the neck of the duck. So what we're going to do is with our knife, run nicely all the way across the back of the neck. We carefully peel the neck away from the skin like so. Fold that up, and then in a V-shaped cut, we're going to be cutting through the neck of the duck, like so. Beautiful for sauce, beautiful for your pets. They love to chew on those things. We have the little duck esophagus. Unfortunately, there are not many uses for that, so down she goes. Inside the duck, there is a little bit of a membrane, which is a bit harder to get through. It's a bit harder to get through than a chicken, you would say. Just peel out the little food pipe. Now, you've got this membrane. With this, just one little nice slice with the tip of your knife to help release that. Now, all of this membrane, you want to try to do your best to peel it out. Find it's easier to grab a hold of with a tea towel or a piece of paper towel or kitchen towel, whatever you find at your disposal. Now that's peeled, all that beautiful skin, we're going to trim and save. We keep that to render our ducks. We are going to prepare this as if we were going to do a duck crown roast. With the tip of our knife, just going to scrape down from one way to the other, just to help release that wishbone. So you can see now the wishbone has become prominent. Once again, with the tip of the knife, you want to get inside that wishbone. Just release through, just like so, and there you go. That's one side. Same again on the underside. And then our pair of scissors, a little bit of a snip. And then here we have a little bit of a twist. That is our little duck wishbone out of the breast. Now, The reason we remove this in a crown roast scenario is that when we carve, we can carve straight through. We're not going to be blocked off by the wishbone. Now, the next thing to tackle are the duck wings. Now, I'm going to show you a little trick that I learned from a very amazing, beautiful chef friend of mine, Harry, big love. Now, what we're going to do is start at the top of the winglet. We're going to run our knife all the way up the bone, exposing the bone and opening up. Then one simple movement, crack, and then peel, snip. So what you've seen, I have beautifully Frenched this little duck wing and gotten rid of the winglet and all that extra skin. Skin goes in the skin pile, that goes in the roast pile. Once again on this side. Now, you have this glorious little duck crown roast. If you wanted to, you could blanch this 10 times and refresh it 10 times in heavily salted water, hang it in your fridge for 3 weeks, glaze it lightly with honey, roast in an oven at about 300 degrees for exactly 11 minutes, let it rest, and you're gonna end up with the most crackled, gorgeous, crispy, lovely, medium rare, medium roasted duck breasts. But we're not gonna do that. All I'm gonna do now is take the duck breasts off, finding that center breastplate, cutting one side down from the top to the bottom, then opening up the skin, finding that breastplate again, cutting the other side down. Now, it's just a simple matter of opening it up, just cut through that skin just to expose everything, and then following that breastplate all the way down, making sure to not cut into the little tender of the duck breasts, because that is an absolutely beautiful piece of meat that the chefs usually get to snack on because we don't serve it. Finding where that rib bone is, cutting through that wing, I should say, sorry. We'll do the other side. Once again, just opening it up with your finger, following down. Like so. Turn it round, find where that wing joint is, and through you go, just like that. Any of this excess skin, remember, cut it off, save it, render it. There you go, folks. 2 ways of preparing this. All we want to do is trim that skin up so the edges are nice and clean, because when you roast this little bad boy, what happens is all of those edges shrink quite dramatically, and if they're not nice and cleanly cut, they end up looking quite ratty and not very nice. Here's the duck breast with the bone. Very simply, all I like to do is just a really, really light score along the skin, trying my best not to cut all the way through. Those cuts are a little deep, but really, really lightly score. This helps in the rendering process. Make sure it ends up nice and crispy and lovely. One more duck. We're gonna prepare this in a slightly different way. We're gonna take that bone off. Now, because we've taken this bone off, we've exposed a lot more sinew. So as you can see, sinew, 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 sinew. All this skin needs to be trimmed. Trim that off, trim that off. Trim. This sinew is not very nice to eat, so all we want to do is remove that to the best of our ability, trying to leave as much duck on the breast and not with the sinew, like so. Pick that up. Oh, missed a bit. And there you go, folks. You have one more perfectly beautiful duck breast. We've got our carcass, we've got our skin to render, we've got our breast, and we've got our legs. Next thing I'm going to show you with duck legs. 9 times out of 10, you're usually confying them. Now, I'm going to show you a little trick when it comes to confying a leg to give it that lovely restaurant finish. We're going to French the leg. All we're going to do here is with our knife, run all the way around the bone, like so. Make sure all of those tendons are being cut through and that bone is exposed nicely. Now, with our heavy knife, we're going to find the joint and cut straight through the joint. So now, with our tea towel, we just fold this off, and there you go. That's the skin, that's the tendons, that's any cartilage. And there you go, you have a beautiful little French duck leg awaiting a glorious little confit. Well, there you go, folks. Hope I've shown you some easy tips and tricks and some basics to set you in the right direction. Thank you very much. Ooh la la. Ooh la la.